Pokemon Violet Scarlet is a game about sandwiches. In no other game do sandwiches play such an important role, and the developer's attention to detail really shows. Of course, in a AAA game featuring sandwiches to such a degree, a top-of-the-line physics engine is also to be expected. And I can say firsthand, after having played the game, I've never appreciated sandwiches more. In previous titles, I was never sure about things like, do the people in this fictional world eat sandwiches? How about the Pokemon? I can now say for sure, both people and Pokemon enjoy sandwiches and share in that love every day. Sandwiches have the power to make us better people, restore our confidence in our abilities, and even cure disease. I too am a lover of sandwiches. I like the bread, but I also like the stuff that goes into the sandwiches. People all over the world share ingredients. This sharing of sandwiches is how we get to know one another and have great picnics. The world would be a better place if people ate more sandwiches. Pokemon Scarlet Violet is a game which, at the time of making this video, is being widely disparaged due to its poor graphics. A AAA title should have good graphics, especially when it's the top-selling game franchise in the world, like Pokemon is. What these dissenters are not acknowledging is that this game is a big improvement from the last open-world Pokemon game, which came out this year as well, Pokemon Arceus. Arceus did not feature any sandwiches, instead focusing on mochi, which is not as good as a sandwich. This new title is a downgrade from Sword Shield, despite Sword Shield not having any sandwiches, which is totally unrealistic, so it's really a draw. Compared to Pokemon Red, Blue for the Game Boy, the graphics are much better, as they are 3D and also in color. Despite the bad graphics, the game designers did offer some truly imaginative landscapes to appreciate, while chowing down on your favorite Sando. I especially liked watching the Altaria float over the misty lake Casseroya, and battling on the dramatic rock formations and cliffs overlooking the ocean beneath Alfornada. The low-quality N64-esque graphics are distracting, but there are things to appreciate in the overall impression created by the designers. It's just too bad the tech was not able to measure up to the game's grand designs. Hopefully in the future, Game Freak will dedicate more resources and brainpower to crafting a better-looking experience. I give the visuals a 6 out of 10. The narrative is a low point of most Pokemon games, and unfortunately, Violet dips lower than usual. The story is not compelling and barely exists. It all just feels very unimportant. Except for the sandwiches, which took a prominent role, enjoying sandwiches with the legendary bike Pokemon and Sandwich Friend were the most memorable moments in the game. I did like learning about the different gym leaders and their various side jobs. In previous titles, trainers appeared to exist in a sort of Pokemon vacuum, their entire lives revolving around the Pokemania and having nothing else going on. In Violet Scarlet, the gym leaders make it clear that this is their side gig and they have their own careers on top of the training. The gym leaders include a baker running a successful bakery, an ex-professional snowboarder, an office worker, a social media influencer, a rapper, a chef, an artist, and I can't remember what the last one is, let's say cult leader? It's an interesting take on the series, but one does need to be concerned about the financial health of the Paldean Pokemon League if they can't even afford to pay their top leaders. The narrative is also centered around the Academy and Academy life. Apparently, I was supposed to be taking classes there, but I missed them and it didn't seem to matter to the story at all. The other story elements regarding the Titans and Team Star are really not worth getting into, though these arcs did have their moments. I was surprised during the game by the sheer number of retiree Pokemon trainers I met along the way, who were also students at the Academy. In Paldea, it seems the Pokemon League has more in common with a senior bridge club than a professional athletic organization. In the end, the battle with the Elite Four was held unceremoniously in a private room. No sandwiches were served. I give the narrative a 2 out of 10. The Pokemon series has a formula which the games have been adhering to for over 20 years, and it still works. Essentially, the game is an extremely convoluted version of Rochambeau with some RPG elements sprinkled in. With each new entry, Game Freak makes iterative improvements to the game series. We've had 3D Pokemon games for a while now, but Scarlet and Violet is the first mainline entry to feature a fully open world to explore. The player also has multiple options regarding which gyms and objectives to pursue and must plan accordingly. In previous games, I've usually only trained one team over the course of the game, but in Violet I managed to train 3 different teams during my Pokemon journey, due to the differences in area levels. The map does seem a bit large sometimes, with some areas seeming sparse and kind of pointless. More content and events would have been nice to break up the big landscape, but it did give me ample space to train up my mons. I did not play online, which seems to be where most of the bugs being reported on the internet are coming from. I actually had a mostly bug-free experience. The sandwich simulator, which is of course the main draw of the game, was on point. There were plenty of ingredients to sprinkle onto this surprisingly bouncy lower bread. Before playing this game, I never realized what a miracle it is any sandwich ever gets made at all. Being able to see all the different creatures run around the landscape was fun, though often there were so many everywhere that it was impossible to not run into them, which did get annoying. And they are so tiny. Why are they all so tiny? A player is more likely to stub their toe on them. I'm sure I must have run over a bunch with the large bike I was riding around the island. Music in the game is worth a shout out. It changes with most new areas and all of it jams. The Team Star music especially got me amped up. I did think the restaurants were a bit of a cop-out, especially in Misagoza, where you could actually walk into the exact same restaurant twice on the same block. They didn't even bother to change the name. I give the gameplay a 9 out of 10. The game as a whole is a solid first attempt at an open-world game, at least offline anyway. It lays a solid foundation for the series to improve off of in the future. The game seems to have missed some opportunities to intertwine the narrative of the school with the story. It also seems like the designers had more ambitions than their technical team could actually handle. The core game is all there though, and still solid. If you're looking for a Pokemon game, this one is worth getting. It has all the stuff, even if some of the implementation is lacking. But we all know you're playing this game for the sandwiches. My suggestion to Game Freak: more types. It's time for new types to spice up the roster. There are simply not enough types. If you need to talk ideas, hit me up. I've got ideas out the wazoo for new types. I give Pokemon Scarlet Violet an 8 out of 10, and a meatball sub. Maybe a bit simple and lacking in subtlety, but it'll fill you out.